So today is 1st July and this 1st July is remembered as a GST day. So in 2017, Government of India introduced goods and service tax, that is also known as one nation one tax. Now it has been 8 years that for you can say with respect to GST. Now it is a time to see the performance of GST. So when I am saying performance of GST, so we have to look into the trends of GST, like for example in terms of the amount of GST collected in last 8 years. So this becomes important for your UPSC IAS exam, that is both for prelims and mains. So you can see in mains already UPSC has asked a question on GST. So if question comes on GST, so this data, whatever I am going to discuss in this video is very, very important. Now if you see, so first of all, we'll see the absolute number. Absolute number means in terms of GST collected in last 8 years. So for example, in financial year 19, okay, so we have collected, you can say 12 lakh crore as a GST. So this is the amount of GST collected in 2000, you can say financial year 2019. So when I'm saying FY 2019, it means I am talking about 2018 to 19. Means 1st April 2018 to 31st March 2019. Now if you see financial year 20, again 12 lakh crore GST is collected. Okay. Now in COVID time period, that is financial year 21, 11 lakh crore GST is collected. Clear? In financial year 2022, 15 lakh crore is collected. Whereas in financial year 23, 18 lakh crore is collected. Clear? Financial year 24 is 20 lakh crore. And financial year 25, 22 lakh crores. Now, no need to remember this number, but at least you have some idea, okay. But what is important for your exam is that they can ask you in which year we have, or you can say Government of India has collected maximum GST. So it is financial year 25, clear? That is 2020, that is financial year 25, that is 22 lakh crores. So you can see that financial year 25 we have a huge collection, that is 22 lakh crore as a GST collected, clear? But again, so this is what you have to remember. Now another thing that you have to remember, that if you see the data from financial year 2022, that is immediately after COVID and till date, so you can see that this graph is increasing. So every year our GST tax collection is increasing. So this is the second thing they can ask you. So if they give you a question like this in last 3 year or 4 year, or you can say after COVID, the GST tax collection get reduced, okay, or what happened. So you have to remember that it has increased. So ultimately in again I am repeating, in when it comes to absolute number, like in which year or in which financial year maximum GST is collected, so it is financial year 25. So this is what you have to remember for your exam. Second thing that you have to remember is that if you see the graph from financial year, that is from after COVID, so you can see that it is increasing every year. So this becomes important. So this is the second important fact that you have to remember. So you know that UPSC used to ask a statement based question. So it becomes important for your exam. Next, if you see in terms of GDP, clear, like the percentage of GDP, that whatever tax we have collected. So if you see in financial year 19, it was 6.2% of GDP. So whatever 12 lakh crore is collected, that was around, you can say 6.2% of GDP. Similarly, in financial year 20, it was 6.1%. In COVID year, that is financial year 21, clear, it was 5.7% of GDP. After COVID, that is in financial 22, it is 6.3%, clear. So further after financial year 23, 24 and 25, it was 6.7%. So you can see except COVID year, okay, except COVID year. So COVID year was an exception. So you can see every time our GST collection was more than 6% of GDP. Clear? So only in COVID year it was 5.7%, but otherwise it is 6%, okay, or more than 6%, and currently it is 6.7% of GDP. So again you can understand what nature of statement they can frame in prelims. Clear? So this is what you have to remember. Clear? So when in the beginning I told you that we have to see the performance of GST. Clear? So whenever you have to see the performance of GST, so you have to consider these numbers. So without numbers, you cannot write your mains answer, okay. And even also in prelims, if question comes, Clear? So you have to write these, or you can say they can frame a, you can say, statement on basis of these numbers. Clear? So ultimately if you analyze these numbers, then only you can answer the statement based question, and you will not find these numbers in any book. क्लियर? तो आपको कोई स्टैंडर्ड बुक में नहीं मिलेंगे, क्लियर, ना ही किसी कोचिंग के मटेरियल में मिलेंगे, या तो आपको करंट अफेयर्स में मिलेंगे या फिर न्यूज़पेपर में मिलेंगे. करंट अफेयर में भी श्योरिटी नहीं है, बट हाँ न्यूज़पेपर में श्योरिटी है. सो एज आई टोल्ड यू दैट टुडे इज 1st July, GST डे. Clear? So ultimately you will find such articles. Clear? So you can take the advantage of such article, you can maintain your notes, and it will help you to, you can say, write a good answer as well as you're able to solve your prelims question. Clear? So remember that if we see the trend, especially from last 3 years, so from last 3 years you can see that GST collected, that is, you can say, is equivalent to 6.7% of GDP. So you can see the numbers here, 6.7% of GDP. Clear? So if question or statement comes that it is remained same from the last 3 years in terms of GDP, yes, the answer is correct. Clear? So here many students will, you can say, get confused, or you can say they will mark the wrong statement. तो अगर कल को स्टेटमेंट आ जाती है कि पिछले 3 साल से GST कलेक्शन इन टर्म्स ऑफ GDP इज कांस्टेंट, तो दिस स्टेटमेंट इज करेक्ट. Clear? So 6.7, 6.7, 6.7. Clear? So this is the second trend that you have to analyze. Clear? Now if you see in terms of growth, clear? So if I see that in COVID year my growth is in negative. Clear? If I compare like in before COVID, in 2000 financial year 20, my GST collection was 12 lakh crores. Clear? But in financial year 21 it is 11 lakh crore, so it has reduced. Clear? So it was negative. Clear? But otherwise if you see in every year it was positive. Clear? Or you can say increase. But the maximum growth we have seen in the immediately after COVID. Clear? That is in financial year 22, that is 30.9%. But the reason is simple. So if we, because this growth rate, or you can say percentage, we are finding when we compare with the previous year. So no doubt पिछले साल means in financial year 21 when we have less GST collection as compared to, you can say, after immediately after COVID our GST collection get increased from 11 to 15 lakh crore. So ultimately the percentage is going to increase. So this is what you have to remember for your exam. तो ultimately ये trend based जो question है, आप अगर इन डेटास को अच्छी तरह एनालाइज करोगे, then only you can answer the trend based question. Even these data, as I told you in between also, that whenever you have to write mains answer, it will also help you there. Clear? So this is what you have to remember for your exam.